Welcome to Inside Roswell. I'm Mary Robichaux, Mayor of Roswell, Georgia. March is Women's History Month, and throughout this month, we'll be highlighting women in leadership across our city government. Women who are serving, leading, and helping shape Roswell in many meaningful ways. Today, I'm joined by Deputy Chief Linnea Rivard of the Roswell Police Department. Deputy Chief Rivard, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank
and
you for
welcome
having
to
me.
Inside Roswell. We're so glad you're here, so let's get started by helping our listeners to understand what your role is here in the city of Roswell. For residents who may not know, what does a deputy chief oversee in Roswell? And what does your role look like day to day?
As the Deputy Chief of the Roswell Police Department, I'm essentially second in command of the police department, so I report directly to the chief.
So you can make my tickets go away? No, just a joke.
Well, my dad even says to his neighbors, one of his neighbors tried to ask me how to fix a ticket for him. My dad says she won't even fix a ticket for me. Don't even bother asking.
Good.
As the deputy chief, I report directly to the chief of police. And so my role is, I always like to lovingly say, is to try to keep him out of trouble. But I support the chief in I do policies, I do procedures. I handle basically all the day-to-day operations. As you know, he is a public figure and has a lot of meetings. You see a lot of the chief. Somebody's got to kind of keep things going behind the scenes. So I report directly to him and make sure he's up to date on everything that we have going on, whatever his orders are, decisions on that, and I go back and make sure that those are implemented. I handle all the operations for the police department that include the detective division, the uniform patrol division, traffic, SWAT, our support services division, also our emergency 911, which is dispatch and communications, our support services, support staff, evidence. So just about everything.
Everything.
The good news is I have a fantastic command staff, and they make my job much easier. So we all are aligned on the same mission and the same priorities, and work together to get the job done and keep things running smoothly.
And I will say, just a step back, I had the opportunity to visit the new police headquarters, and I want to say thank you to you and all of our public safety officers who are working there. And we know it's going to be finished soon. They are, in a certain way, there's a lot of still work being done on the building, but we appreciate all the hard work you guys are doing to serve and protect the city. What first drew you to law enforcement? And, was this always the plan for you?
I frequently get asked that question. Usually it's coupled with, do you have a law enforcement family? And actually I don't. I'm the only one in my family who got into law enforcement. There was no defining moment in my life that made me decide to be a police officer. To be 100% honest with you, as far back as I can remember, this is what I wanted to do.
Wow.
That I don't remember a time where I didn't want to be a police officer. I always wanted to do it. And when I graduated high school at 18 years of age, I actually applied at the Roswell Police Department to work in the detention center.
Wow.
Because you have to be 21 to be a police officer. So that is how anxious I was to start. I started at 18 to get my foot in the door at the detention center.
Wow. Not many people have decided that early on what they wanted to do.
That's true.
That's amazing.
I have two sons, 21 and 19, and they still don't know what they want to do.
Mine are a little bit older. They finally figured it out. But again, as you've risen through the ranks, obviously the level that you're at, what were one or two pivotal moments that shaped you as a leader?
I've been doing this for 28 years now. So with almost 3 decades of experience, I have, had the gamut of all different types of experiences. And obviously, critical incidents are something that stay with you for the rest of your life. They can be positive experiences, and they can also be negative experiences. And they certainly shape how you handle similar situations going forward or how you approach certain things. So you learn from all of them. When I think about something that affects my day-to-day, it's actually something much smaller, much simpler. And it was something that one of my former chiefs had said to all of us in a training class one time, is that he wants the Roswell Police Department to be a can-do police department. Oh. He says, all people are going to, frequently ask you to do something or want you to do something you can't do. And rather than just replying, I can't do that, what I want you to do is figure out what you can do for the individual. Offer them something else that they can do instead. Because a significant part of what we do is a customer service role. And if you approach your job that way every single day in your career and your profession and your mission of what can we do, you provide a much better service to the citizens of Roswell.
I love that philosophy. That's an amazing philosophy. So, obviously you've been in leadership for a while. How would you describe your leadership style today? And is it different from the past?
I would say that my leadership style is one of I'm firm but fair. I hold very high expectations of my officers, but at the same time is that I understand that they're all people. They're all human beings, and I approach with empathy and understanding as well. The goal is to continue to develop and help all of our officers grow and become even better at what they do. I want my police department to be the best police department to work at. That includes making sure that my employees are treated fairly, that my employees know exactly what is expected of them. They don't need to come to work every day and not know what the mission is and not know what our priorities are. They need to know how they can be successful, because most people want to be successful. You just have to help show them. I want to make sure they have the best training, the best equipment, and the best resources available to them. So I expect a lot of myself to make sure that they're taken care of. And in return, though, I do hold high expectations for them.
So I think you've just described that, policing really does require both command presence and emotional intelligence. And it sounds as if you really have a good balance with that strength and empathy. Are there any additional ideas, concepts to share with other people who want to know how to balance those two? Because it's not easy to balance those two in a lot of situations.
Absolutely. Anytime that you hear people talking about command presence, they're frequently thinking of that rough and tough guy coming in and ordering people around and telling them what to do, and that's really not what it's about. It's being reliable and being consistent, that your employees can count on you and that they know that you are somebody that they can trust. I don't always have all the answers. I don't. I can't tell you how many times somebody come up to me, so I'm going to ask you because I know you'll know the answer. And
I get that too, trust me.
and I'll immediately tell them, as like, I don't know the answers to everything, but I usually know where to find the answers.
That's honest. I mean, that's honesty, because no one can know all the answers.
Exactly. And I think that's an important part of it is I don't think anybody actually expects me to have the answer to everything, but I think they expect an honest reply. And that if I don't know the answer, I'm not going to just make something up. It's like, we're going to figure this out is what we're going to do and get to the bottom of it. Another part of it is you do have to be decisive. You have to be willing to make a decision. And sometimes those decisions can be very, very tough decisions. Many times you'll identify an officer that you're going to make a great sergeant one day. And then a sergeant's assessment comes out and they don't put in for it. And you ask them like, hey, why didn't you put in for the sergeant's assessment? I think you'll be great. And the frequent thing that I hear them say is that, well, I just don't feel like I know enough. I go to the sergeant all the time and ask them questions, and they always have the answer, and I don't feel like I know enough. And every time I have to tell them, is like, look, when I became a sergeant, in my mind, I thought I was about to be handed the secret book that tells me all the answers to everything. And
kind of like when you're elected mayor, you're supposed to have all the answers,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. And what I quickly found out from my peers is that they don't have all the answers. They're willing to step up to the plate and make the best decision they can with the information that they have. And I explain to the individuals, like, you have excellent decision making, and you take all of the facts and circumstances, you gather all the pertinent information, and you make very, very good decisions. And that's all anybody can ask of you. And that still continues throughout all the ranks. I mean, even when I got on the command staff, I still had it in my head, okay, now I'm going to get the command staff secret manual. Didn't happen. So with every rank and with every decision is you're just doing the best you can with the information that you have. You don't always have all the answers, but you have to be true to yourself, be honest, and do the best you can with what you have.
And I think that's what comes through. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to, as you said, make those decisions. Some of them are very tough, but if you make it from that place of you're doing the best that you can really honestly do.
Right.
So outside of the badge, who is Linnea Rivard? What keeps you grounded?
Well, I think I mentioned earlier, I had two boys. They are 19 and 21, so they are amazing young men. And they So I was a single mom, and so raising two boys, and as a police officer hours, and I would work second jobs and stuff like that. We were a team. I mean, we really were. We were a team, and we still are to this day. And I kind of laugh about it now as I get a little bit older. I had a major surgery last year. I needed help and around the house, and my boys came home and they came and took care of their mom. Family unity is just such a big deal. It's very, very important. I would definitely say that they are my rock and help keep me grounded. I also have hobbies as well. I have two Great Danes.
Oh, wow.
I have a Saint Bernard, and I'm about to get another Saint Bernard puppy in a couple of weeks.
Okay. How much land do you have?
I do have a few acres.
Okay.
But surprisingly enough, these big giant dogs, they don't want any of it. They just want to stay right next to my side. I do competitively show them.
Oh.
So that's just a little hobby of mine. And then outside of that, I also do rescue work for giant breeds as well. So I frequently have fosters coming and going or doing transports for that.
Yeah.
So
That's wonderful.
yeah. So
I mean, I think, a lot of people, your children, your family, but then the animals can become that family too.
Yeah.
And oftentimes emotional support, when I was in healthcare, we would use service animals for that emotional support people, how much that just touch can help.
Yep, absolutely.
So what message would you share with the next generation of people considering a career in law enforcement or public service?
When you're getting into law enforcement and public service, there are so many different facets of it, so many different modalities, whether you want to be a traffic officer, riding a motorcycle, you want to be a canine officer, if you want to get into detectives, you want to do narcotics, there are so many different options available. At the core of every single officer, though, is that uniform patrol officer of wearing this same uniform that I wear. This day and age, I do spend more time at a desk and in front of Excel spreadsheets and code books and legal rulings and things like that than I do out in the field. But at my core, this is what I do. I left work the other day and stopped somewhere to get something to eat on my way home, which was not in the city of Roswell at this point in time, just real quick to grab something. And a citizen from this other area, not even my jurisdiction, came up to me and wanted to ask me some questions. And I was meeting my son for dinner. My son was just kind of laughing as I was helping this gentleman through what he needed and how to get in touch with his police department for exactly what he specifically needed. And that has just got to be part of who you are, is public service. And if you have at your core a desire to serve, then we have a home for you, and we have all different types of job types depending on what it is that you're looking to get into.
Yeah, I was amazed at the extensive expertise that we have across our police department. I don't think everyone realizes all of the types of jobs and everything that you're doing.
We do, and I do have to owe a lot of that to the officers themselves. An area that we have, like our CSI, that is a very, very specialized area. And what
Can you tell everyone what that means?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Know?
Yes, crime scene investigators. Our CSI is the best I know of, at least in the state of Georgia, and I'm sure much further than that. And I owe all of that to those individual officers. And that's something that we're willing to do, is that if you come to our agency and you're willing to specialize in something and put into it, then we're going to invest back into you as you invest back into us.
So Chief Deputy Rivard, thank you for joining me today and for sharing your perspective. For our listeners, thank you for spending time with us at Inside Roswell. We're all about transparency, trust, and helping you better understand how your city works. Be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll continue the conversation next time on Inside Roswell.